Alrighty, what up, you guys? I'm Bryson Smith.
And I'm Javin, and this is Etcetera. Wow, I almost messed it up.
That's funny, because we're like, it's been like, through 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, 2.5 weeks. We've been in the groove, too. I blanked. Yeah. I blanked hard.
And then it happens. That moment when your breath starts to slow. And every time you breathe out all the oxygen you have. And everything stops. Your heart, your lungs, and finally your brain. And everything you feel and wish and want to forget, it all just sinks. And then suddenly, you give it air again, give it life again. I remember the first time it happened to me, I got so scared I wanted to call 911. Go to the hospital and be kept alive by machines and apple juice. But I didn't want to look like an idiot.
We have another new series on our show called A Casual Conversation.
Right.
And today's casual conversation.
We haven't uploaded.
Yeah, we haven't uploaded. So yeah, this is another one of those things where like we've had this idea and we've made videos and scratched them. But yeah. So basically, we're going to be doing a casual conversation about the summer hit show of 2019, Euphoria.
That's right.
Because we are huge fans of Euphoria, especially me. Like, I've read the script, watched the show, we're rewatching the show, and I think it'd be dope to talk about it again in its fullness, because on the 6th of this December, they're actually going to be having an episode, which is going to be sort of like the bridge between season 1 and season 2. And I think it'd be dope to do like sort of a review of each episode before that happens. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the first episode, how we feel about it, just an overall review of the episode, the music, the cinematography. We're going to be going in huge depth on the show. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
It's your favorite show, right?
Yeah, I love Euphoria. One of the coolest things I resonate with the show so much. You know, with characters like Nate and Jules and Rue, I know growing up, I knew characters like that, which is really dope, because the writer, and I forget his name, but I was watching him, he was talking about the show, and he was talking about it was like a reflection of the people that he's known in his life. And I resonated with that so much.
Yeah, we all know those characters. Not only that, they're fleshed out too. Like, they're full characters, as if
real people.
Yeah, they're real people. That's really the best way of saying it. Is this show portrays real people and real scenarios in a very artistic and expressive way. Does
a great job at doing it. Like the cinematographers, they were talking about how they wanted to portray emotional realism, which they did a really good job at doing. Which is like saying, they're basically saying something not with their words, but with how they're using the lighting and the camera motions, everything that they're showing to you on screen without the words. And right. Which is really dope, because they did such a good job at doing that. The show is just full of like dope artsy, like cool things. Like
the makeup alone has inspired and like a whole wave of people being like, how do I do Euphoria makeup? And it's so hard. Like, people,
Pre-COVID, I went to I went to a gay club in Hollywood, and I remember I was talking to this one dude. He was like, "Look at my makeup." I was like, "I'm looking." So, who is it? I was like, I don't know, Jules. I was like, oh shit, it is Jules. Yeah, but that gay club was dope as hell.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah,
I've never been to a gay bar, I don't think.
No, it was a gay club. It was dope as hell. There's a lot of women there. Like right after that, I told my boy, I'm like, I'm only going to gay clubs now. It's so popping. But anyways, it did influence a whole. That show just had a huge influence on people. Yeah, makeup being one of them.
I like almost everyone I knew was just like. Trying to do it, trying to be like, I'm going for that Euphoria. It's a look now. The Euphoria look.
Had a cool aesthetic.
It's gorgeous. Almost every aspect of the film is gorgeous. What I found really interesting, we're gonna focus on the first episode mostly.
Right now we're just praising it in its fullness, but we'll break down the episode. Yeah.
But in that first episode, there's lighting, and in the lighting, I forget.
Every episode,
right, with McKay and Nathan and all of them. The room.
Oh yeah, all the LED lights. When the twins and everyone were in the room, and they were just talking about how they should. Or how, what's his name? Like his friend should bone, whatever. I don't know the name of the white girl, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
What, we just watched this too. It's really funny. We just watched this. No, yeah, oh man, I can almost swear I remember her name. She's great. She's actually an amazing actress. She did really well in that show. But the lighting with the red background and the blue floor, that's not lighting you'd see in anyone's house. Like, that's not normal to see, but at the same time it's such a casual feel that it feels real. And I think that's emotional realism. I think that's the idea behind emotional realism, where you're, whatever the emotion is of the room or of the scene or whatever, the scenery matches that feeling, whether that's realistic or not.
I mean, what you're saying is true. Like, it's not. I guess it's not you wouldn't normally see like LED lights lit up in someone's house.
It's like a party, but that was more like just a casual gathering.
No, but that was like they were kicking it. Like, that's something like I would have, like, even at my house. If that was so, I recently had something at my house that was pretty cool, and we had all these lights and everything, and it was really cool. But that was like a gathering, and like, of course, you would I would have something. I've had something like that. So.
That's true. That might be fair. But I guess what I'm saying is, it's cool how they got the lighting to cut, because blue and red, it's a contrast, but it felt very smooth in that scene, and in the rest of it. The whole show has amazing lighting, amazing cinematography, and everyone knows this. People have talked about this.
I love how it even starts off, like even with the first episode, with Rue as she was being born. Like, do you remember that? I'm like, wow, this is deep. And then they showed like the 9/11 attack, and you see how she grows up to become sort of like, you know, what she is now, which is a drug addict. And it's sad, especially knowing someone like that. And the weird thing about it is, like I was saying in the beginning, like how I really kind of resonate with that feeling of Rue wanting to be so detached from everything, and when she's extremely high or on drugs, how she like falls down into this place of like numbness and just wanting to escape reality. Like, I completely was like there with her.
Everyone's experienced that kind of feeling, and those people in rough situations especially want to escape, and she was in that scenario. And it's cool that they didn't. I know a lot of people like her as a main character. She's an amazing main character, but I feel like the show didn't overly glorify her behavior. Like, they didn't make her the best. Like, they didn't make her like, yeah, she's a drug addict, but also she's amazing, and she's like super good at this. She's not necessarily super good at any one thing in particular.
You're right.
Yeah, but she's also not like an it could be anyone. She's definitely her. She's her own character. She's about herself.
I would say that about all the characters in the show. And we see all the characters in episode 1, right? That's like you see all the main characters in episode 1.
Yes.
Yeah. You see everyone's their own person. Even when they're at the house party, like, everyone is their own thing. No one's trying to be somebody or act like someone. They're just their own person, which is really cool.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. You do see I actually didn't notice that before. You do see every character. Like, I was even the side characters. You see most of, if not all of them. Yeah,
you see like all the characters in the first episode. From the party to even when Rue got picked up by her, I would say those are more so her acquaintances, but they knew her. They picked her up. She was riding with them in the car. Like, you see every character.
Yeah, the only one you don't see, I think, is Rue's mom's boyfriend.
Oh yeah, he's like later down the line though.
Yeah, but he's pretty much it. But that's cool. I didn't know that like you kind of get the full blend, but you don't get the full context. So they almost like are different characters, like by
They
the
are.
end of it,
They are
but they
different
never
characters, yeah.
changed. You change your perspective of them. That's really interesting.
I think by the end of I think if we want to start talking about like, okay, so obviously the show is about drug addiction. And you see that in the first episode. You see how Rue's very addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that people were talking about, well, a big thing in the show as a whole was like, yo, this show makes you want to do drugs. I know it did for me, which is so funny because the whole point of the show is to not make you do drugs.
It's like, that's not amazing.
Even I remember when it was out on HBO and I was watching it, every Sunday. Like by the end of each episode, I remember it would say like, call Euphoria, the number or whatever, if you know someone who is struggling with, addiction problems.
Right.
But for me, it's like, yo, I know, and so many people can relate with me with this. I think Zendaya actually said this herself when she won her Emmy. She was like, I know our show isn't something about doing drugs. She was like, I know our show isn't the best when it comes to that, but like, really, you shouldn't be doing it.
Maybe don't do drugs.
But that show made me want to do drugs. Like, I remember I was doing cocaine in the girls' bathroom at Sharky's over at Huntington Beach. I live in California, Southern California, because of that show. I was doing it with my homegirl, and she was like, you want to do this? Am I being too real?
No. Shoot. We're 100% on this show. Every detail of our lives is for your entertainment.
Right. I don't mind being open about anything or over here. Right. So. No. Yeah, but what I'm saying is like that show really was like, yo, we're gonna do. I was hanging out with my cousin and my friends. I'm like, we're gonna do drugs. I was like, we're gonna go beyond what Rue did in Euphoria, which sounds so bad because the show really advocates for you not to do that.
She literally almost died, vomit all over, and you're like, fuck.
I was really, really under the influence that night. This is going completely off. Well, not really off topic because it's still drug related, but yeah,
personal story. I mean, we've talked about drugs before on the show.
Yeah, you guys know we talk about it, and if not, we're gonna post something right here.
Yeah, drugs, they're good or are they bad?
It depends the person. And for Rue, she was running away from something. That's what she was doing, and you see that by the end of episode 9. And we'll get to that. We're gonna go through each episode, but
are there 9 episodes?
Or episode 8. I'm sorry, we're 8 episodes, but we're gonna do.
Are there 8?
I believe there's 8, but we're gonna do an extra because this is gonna be a 9-part series. We're gonna go through each episode, and then on the 9th one, we're gonna do sort of like what we think season 2 of Euphoria is gonna be about,
based off of what we know about.
Based off of what we know. And like I said, we think this is going to be great because of on December 6th, they're having like a special episode. So, yeah. And we're fans.
We just love you. Actually auditioned. You auditioned for Euphoria season 2.
I've said this before.
Yes.
I have a video cringe as hell.
Yeah.
Let me know in the comments if you guys would want to see that, by the way. But it is so bad. I'm like, I can't. I mean, I'll show it if somebody puts in the comments, Bryson, I want to see that video. I'll show you guys it. I'll just upload it directly to the YouTube channel. I don't care what people say. Yeah, it's that bad though.
But I still think Bryson should be on Euphoria, despite
he's too kind.
No, it's true.
I'll shave my beard and be in high school again. I look so young. Jesus.
Oh man, you would be so good. Anyway, but wow, I blanked. Essentially what we're saying with Euphoria, you think it's about drug addiction, and I would agree. I think the wanting to do drugs thing, I think addiction, of course, is about your circumstances. It's about the actual drug you're using and how much you use it. And it's just, there's a lot of variables attached to addiction, and there are no easy answers. And I think that show just kind of like glorifying the drug dealer. Is that a good idea? That seems a little like, okay, the drug dealer is super kind, golden hearted. And then you have the kid who's like a genius, right? Both positive traits assigned with drug dealing and advocating. Wouldn't you say they're bad people for drug dealing? But then later on in the show, I know we're supposed to do episode 1, but later on in the show, she...
there's just so much to say. Like I'm thinking about episode 1. I'm like...
Attaches.
I do want to at some point break down episode 1 though in this and what we have here, like break it down. But I'm listening to you, Javin.
Fez, he later on, you see another where he gets his supplier.
Right.
And that guy's an asshole. He almost
It's
kills.
like episode 4, I think.
Yeah. He almost kills the main character with fentanyl.
He was tripping.
And so you see that, and then you also see the circumstances that Fez deals. Why does he deal? And it's what you expect. It's for money. It's to get money for people he cares about. And so I think what the show does is show a well-rounded. Drugs aren't inherently evil, and the people involved with drugs aren't inherently evil, but there are some pretty catastrophic results that come from needing money, needing drugs, and stuff like that. So Rue, not the best person.
I mean, well, right off the back in the beginning of the first episode, we see her getting out of rehab and literally falling right back into her same tragic ways that any drug addict would do.
Because her real problems were never addressed, or rather, they were never solved. Rehab can't solve anything. They can provide an environment where you can solve something.
Right.
But she never had that drive or desire to solve it.
Right after she got out, she went right back to doing her. She got right back into her normal way of living. Talking to the people she would normally talk to, doing what she would normally do. Obviously, you're gonna fall back into doing drugs, which is what she did right off the back. We see her going to meet up with Fez and what's the name of the little boy? That guy, that guy, and buying drugs. That was what the first day she was out.
Yeah, the first day. And in hindsight, it makes sense. She feels constantly trapped.
Right. I'm just thinking about it. You see her after that. There's a scene where her mom is yelling at her, and she wants her to get drug tested, and then Rue is coming up with ways to figure out how to not obviously get caught that she's been doing drugs again. And then remember she goes to her friend's house to try and get her pee. Remember she was looking up ways to we're shown 3 different ways. Just right back to the drug.
And so we actually see 3 different ways people handle it. Somebody else being drug addicted. We see Fez's response, which is concerned but still accommodating, still gives her the drug, still does everything necessary for her to feed into her addiction. Which, now I talk about him in that context. I love him. He's a great character.
Fez is dope. He needs his own episode. That's what we wanted. That's what the people wanted.
That better be what the next episode is. But I'm pretty
sure he'll get it in season 2.
He'll get it. Yeah. But if you talk about it from the drug addiction context, he doesn't sound like that great of a person. He's just feeding her addiction, and he knows it, and he's profiting off of it. Yes, he cares about her.
He does. He does care about her, and he knows what he's doing is wrong to her. It's one of those weird situations. I've never been a drug dealer or anything, but I can understand how you could love a friend, but at the same time, you still support their negative addictions. I mean, at some point, he obviously there's a moment. I'm speaking to the people who have seen the show, and if you haven't, you should see the show. But you guys would know the scene where was that episode 7? Anyways, the scene where she was banging on his door, literally banging on his door to get the drug, and he was just "Nah, I'm not doing it."
Yeah, no.
And that was the line where he was like, "Yo, this is out of pocket." I mean, it's been out of pocket, but yeah.
Yeah, and that is the response eventually to have. However, is there something flashing?
No.
Sorry, I'm looking at the monitor and there's no, never mind. So you also see the opposite reaction, which is the one her mom has. And her mom's you're never coming in contact with drugs. I'm going to get involved in your life enough to make sure you feel bad about doing drugs, feel bad for wanting to do drugs, feel bad for everything you've ever done.
And I'm sorry.
I think you're probably going to say what she loves her. Of course, she loves and supports her daughter in that sense, but is scared. She's constantly terrified because she almost lost her. But rather than being emotionally supportive, which isn't something she understands how to do with Rue, because Rue's very shut off, and because the mom's, if we're honest, not that great at reading emotional situations. She just control. She tries to keep her daughter close and in control. So that's the way she loves, and that doesn't work.
Yeah, the scene in the first episode where the actress is Nina King, the one that played Rue's mom. When she was talking to Rue in the bathroom, and Rue didn't want to talk, and she was crying. She was like, "Mom, not right now." And then it flashes back to when Rue's sister found her in her room, like in vomit from overdosing on a certain drug or whatever it is she was doing. But we see that the mom does care about Rue. I think she just doesn't know, like what you said. She doesn't know how to handle that. And who would? That's a lot.
It's a lot. You almost lose somebody. Not only almost lose somebody, but as a parent, it's on you. Like you see that. If I could speculate, this is all speculation. Okay. But if I could pretend like I have a psych degree, which I don't, she almost lost her daughter. That's not a reflection of her daughter as much as it is a reflection of her own parenting. And so I think the reason she's so hard on Rue is because she's terrified that she's going to lose her daughter. Right. And she's also terrified that she's a bad parent.
Oh, and wow. It could be both.
She's as harsh on her daughter as she is on herself. She's constantly being like, you need to be better, because she thinks she needs to be better. And she's pushing that onto her daughter. And so we're just stuck in this swirl of shame and pride that she has, and it just never helps. It's not going to help Rue in the end. It doesn't.
I see that. Yeah, I definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know if I'm reading too far into it.
I mean, no, that definitely, that I feel like that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we the show never went in depth on the mother or anything.
No, actually.
Yeah, it never went in depth on the mother. I don't think it needed to. I think it did well, honestly.
It was more about the sister.
It could have went more in depth on like Fez or somebody, but
please, season 2, don't fail us.
But yeah, I think the mom was doing the best she could do with, obviously the knowledge of what she had. That's what I think.
Of course, that's every parent, right? Oh, almost every parent. They just do the best they can. It just sucks that when your child isn't like you and has different experiences and different struggles, it's hard. It's hard, especially when you have your own struggles, which kind of brings us to our third way of dealing with addiction. There's the accommodating, giving, and then there's the being strict and taking away. And then there's the third, which is doing nothing and just kind of watching. And that was what her sister did. And that doesn't make her sister a bad person. Her sister was similarly scared out of her mind.
We see that. You see all this in the first episode, yeah.
First episode, Jesus Christ.
A lot. There's a lot of information to take in on that first episode.
This show is fucking bonkers. It's drama. I'm a bit critical of drama as a genre.
Yeah, you told me that, yeah.
But Bryson has shown me the light, and he has shown me some really good dramas. Really good. And this show does phenomenal with it. It's just gorgeous, but it's a lot. It's very dense, but it feels very fluid. And with the sister, you see like snippets, like tiny little bits.
Right.
But it's powerful because she does nothing. She watches this happen. She doesn't judge. She doesn't say, you're bad for this. But she also doesn't say, hey, I think you need help. She doesn't get involved. She just is there.
I mean, she loves her sister, though.
Of course. All three of them care about Rue, but none of them help her at all.
Jules helped.
But
we don't see that in the first episode. We see the beginning of them. We see the beginning of their relationship. And as the series goes on, you see how that unfolds. And you see how Jules tries to do her part. Or does do her part.
You know what's funny, though?
Yeah. What's up?
With Jules, Rue's actually the one who wants to change for Jules. Jules doesn't necessarily say, you need to change or have an ultimatum. She's just like, there. But in an involved point, I think way.
And this is all spoilers if you haven't seen it. Like, how many minutes in? 23 minutes.
Spoiler warning.
Jules does say at some point, I believe she says, like, I think that Jules told Rue that she wasn't going to be able to hang out with her anymore. Yeah, she did. If she was going to be on drugs all the time and like she.
Yeah, she.
So that was why Rue was like, all right, I got to stop doing this drug stuff. Yeah.
And I really do think I'm not an expert in addiction, and addiction has a lot of variables, but generally the strict, harsh route, never good. The I'll just feed into it and hope you like me never works. And the just being there and ignoring the problem never works. Being involved and stepping over the hurdles with them and accepting the mistakes as they go along. Like Rue's going to do it sometimes, and you have to accept that that's just going to happen and not judge her for that, but also help her not do that again.
Right. Question, what was your favorite part of the first episode?
Favorite? Okay. So there's a whole other aspect of the show that I really enjoy, which is the sexual part. And the reason I enjoy it is because it's so painful.
Let's talk about the sex scene in this, because that seemed to have in the first episode.
There's only one sex scene, isn't there?
Yeah, but you seem to have got a reaction out of that when we were watching it.
There are two sex scenes. 3, technically.
The one where Jules has sex with Nate's dad.
Right. But then there's also the one with the girl. The sex scene with the dad.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and then technically there's an implied sex scene with the other girl, and that leads into. But the one with Jules and
that was your favorite scene?
Calvin? No, that wasn't my favorite scene. That I just felt like represented it. Nathan and his dad represent toxic masculinity. It's pretty on the nose, not in a bad way. They're well-rounded characters. It's just they're toxic, and it's because they believe in this idea of masculinity. And I just find that aspect is really harsh, and like there's a lot of complexity to that. But then there's the scene with the girl, Kat, I think. And she's in the room with the twins.
Oh yeah, yes.
I have a love-hate relationship with that scene because I hate it so much, but I love it because it so perfectly represents to me that kind of peer pressure, that weird. He's not even like, he's got this gross little mustache. He's a skinny white boy. The twins don't know what the fuck they're saying. But she falls for it, not because she's stupid or anything, but because she genuinely believes that her value is determined by these fucking weirdos.
These lames. What they did was some lame. Like, that's lame as hell. And she was just like really falling for it.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, would you suck my dick right now? It's like, no,
what'd she say?
Dude.
I don't don't know, take it out or something.
Let me see.
And he was like, it's not hard.
She won't. It's not hard yet. Like, oh my God, you are so lame. But it's true. I know those people. I've known them. I've met them, and they are just as lame now as they were back then.
That's funny.
That's why I love that scene. I think the sexual themes in the entire show, I don't know if they're necessarily realistic in the sense that everyone's experiencing that, but it's realistic in that those who do experience that feel that way.
I'm pretty sure that's happened a lot in life, like peer pressure. A group of teenage boys peer pressuring some teenage girl into some situation. Like,
it's
you think you're a bad bitch? Let me see your titties.
Let me see your
I'm bad. I'm a bad bitch. Yeah, prove it.
So many pictures.
Like what? Like that? Yeah, that scene is
Don't fall for it, please. I mean, I don't know who watches this, but it's probably not high schoolers. But if there is a random high schooler,
who happens to watch us
on either side, don't do it. Don't fall for it. It gets better. Wait.
Was that wasn't your favorite scene, or was it?
That was my favorite scene, in that I hated it so much, and that's why.
Okay.
It provoked the strongest emotion in me. Where I'm like, oh man, I've been in that room. I've seen that happen. Oh right. No,
I have a favorite scene throughout the whole series, but that's later down. This is part 1 to like a 9-part series.
Okay.
But as far as the first episode, my favorite scene in the first episode is probably, I like little scenes and stuff. Like there's a couple different ones I like. So at the house party, when Jules cut herself, and she was like, "Hi you guys, I'm Jules," and like Nate, he was tripping. Like, I like that scene a lot. And then I also like the scene right after the house party when Rue and Jules become friends. Like, that's like the first time they met. And then they like ride their bike to her house. And then I like the music that went with it. Like, I like those two scenes a lot.
Those are heartfelt. And
yeah, I like those.
how do they get the emotions in that show right? It's a combo of everything, but man, they really do get it. The scene, I think it's one of the most famous scenes in that show, which is the hallway spinning.
Oh yeah, that scene was dope too.
That was cool. I remember watching that the first time. Oh, Jared, he loves that scene.
Yeah,
he
with
was
the
freaking
Beyonce
out.
song. All right, sorry about that. My camera messed up, but yeah, we were talking about the scene with the Beyonce music going and the spinning in the hallway. I actually looked into that scene because when I first seen it, I thought it was so cool, and then I read that they actually they built like it was like a stage thing that they built, and then what they did was they were able to turn it around and they glued like what's it called? Everything was like glued to the wall and everything was like stuck there. And so they spin it around slowly and just had Zendaya obviously walk among the walls and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Really, really cool, really creative how they did that. That was really unique.
Yeah. And then the people are there. I assume they're filmed separately.
That whole everything was dope. Episode 1 had a lot of layers to it, there was a lot of information being brought in the first episode, and they did it in a really great way. If you haven't seen Euphoria, definitely check it out. We're going to be doing a whole review on the whole series before they have that special that comes out on December 6th. And so this will be part 1 of 9?
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a whole series.
Yeah. Did you want to say something before we wrap it up?
I just want to say that, again, so there's this thing in art specifically called there's impressionism and stuff like that, where the idea isn't to paint something hyper realistic. The idea is to paint something that gives the feeling that you would have if you were there. So you'll see a painting of a pond and it'll feel more like a pond than an actual picture.
Right, got you.
And in photography even, there's this thing where if you take a generic ass photo of a pond and you look at the photo, you're like, that's not what I saw. That's not what it was like when I was there. And so you have to set up all the lighting. You have to really get it right. And I think this show does exactly that. It doesn't just show things happening, because that doesn't give you the same feeling as if you were there. But the way it's structured, the lighting, the cinematography, the dialogue even, gives you the impression.
It all works together.
Yeah.
It all works together.
And that is why I think it sets that apart from other crappy genre or dramas and romantic comedies and stuff, because
it was a great teen drama series. Right. Not like the others for sure.
No. A funny story before we wrap this up. I actually watched the end of Euphoria first. I watched literally I'm the exact end. I watched maybe 15 minutes or 10 minutes of the end, the last episode. I had taken this nap. I was wiped out. And as I was waking up, a person who was visiting was just watching this show. I had no idea what it was, and it looked like one of those teen dramas, so I was like, I don't really care for this. And then I kept my eyes kept going back to the screen, and I'm like, this looks so good though.
It is. It was.
The makeup was really what caught me first. I'm like, why is this so good? It's
so appealing to the eye.
Good. And then they kept going, and I'm like, I don't know anything about these characters. I know literally nothing, and I'm already hooked. I'm in. And so I watched episode 1, and I'm like, this show's so fucking good. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had no idea it existed. Yeah. And I binge watched it. I watched the whole thing, and it was phenomenal. One of the best shows I've ever seen. I say that a lot, but I really do mean it. I'm not exaggerating. It's one of the best shows out there. And I think it's because they give you these people.
Yeah,
their experience.
I definitely did.
And I think it's miraculous to see a show do that and still keep it like engaging and interesting.
Definitely.
So that's what's your final thought?
I feel like I've said everything I need to say. I can't wait to do the episode 2 review and just go through it.
Just hit it.
Yeah, if you enjoyed this, if you're a fan of Euphoria or you're a fan of us, Definitely subscribe, support, comment, and we will definitely be writing to you. We try to write back to the comments that we get. Again, this is still the beginning of us, but we're definitely in this for the long run. Yeah. So we will be for sure seeing you guys next time.
See you next time. Ralph, you have anything to say?
Ralph doesn't care.
No, he doesn't care. See you guys.